Most of you know what this probably is. This is an entire pig. And today, we're going to show you how to make bacon. And who doesn't love bacon? We're going to start with the cutting process. We're going to show you where it comes from on the pig. We're looking for pork belly. There's going to be two, one per side. We're going to take one belly. We're going to cure it with celery powder and sea salt. We're going to take the other belly. We're going to cure it with sodium nitrites using a curing salt. Stay tuned. We're going to break this pig apart and we'll show you the entire process. Not only are we going to show you how to cut it, we're going to show you how to smoke it, and then we're going to take it to a cast iron skillet and we're going to fry some up. You can do this at home with just a few pieces of equipment. Follow along. Going to start with busting these hams off of here. Cutting through the, right there, the end of the sirloin. So we get both of these broke off. We'll move to our saw, our trusty butcher boy. First thing we want to do is break the shoulder off. Now we want to break the belly off of the pork loin. Now that we separated that belly from that loin, I'm going to show you how we fabricate the ribs from the belly. First thing we do is we make a score right here. Not going too deep because we don't want to cut into that beloved bacon. Just take our knife, starting at the top of these ribs. Being careful that we don't put deep score marks in that bacon. Work our way down through, removing that spare rib. Now what we'll do is we're simply going to square this belly up. We're going to take this end off. We're going to square this side. Square that side up. Now when we square it up here on the table, what that does is after it's smoked and you slice it, that gives you a nice uniform piece of bacon. If you have one portion that's just slightly thicker than the rest, you can always remove that fat. That way it cures nice and evenly throughout. So there's one belly. Let's get the second. Belly number 2, same process. Let's go ahead and get this one broke down, making that score, removing this spare rib. Now, chances are, when you go to a local butcher and you ask for a pork belly, this part has already been done. So most likely you won't need to remove the ribs like I am. However, we just wanted to show you exactly where these bellies come from, and this is just part of the process. Let's go ahead and get this one squared up. This was belly 1, this was belly 2. We've got them all trimmed out and ready to go in our cure. Now, I want to talk about this for a second. We skin our pigs. So what that means is, when we butcher this animal, we remove the hide. When you go to your local butcher, you may find a belly that has what they call the rind on. That you can remove it before you smoke it. You can remove it after. My opinion, it's probably going to make a little bit better looking product if you remove that rind prior to curing and smoking. So don't be alarmed if you go to your local butcher and you do buy a pork belly and it has the rind on it. So keep that in mind. Ours, we did remove the skin. Now that we have our bellies cut, we were shooting for 10 pounders. So let's see how we did. Boom. I think that'll work. Belly number 1 weighed 10 pounds. Let's see about belly number 2. Hey, not too bad. We hit her pretty close. Now that I'm done fabricating these beloved bellies, I think that's gonna be our word today. So in our videos, we talk a lot about incredible eating experience, and there's different little slogans we use throughout our videos. So I think today it'll be beloved bellies, and we're not talking about mine or Scott's. So now that I have these done, Scott is the master curer here at White Feather Meats. He's gonna take them from here and show you how we cure them. That's right, this is where I come in. This is gonna be a super simple, just plain vanilla, basic recipe. Of course, you can take and you can add different spices to this. You can kind of take these any direction you want. This is just gonna be your base recipe to get you a great bacon with nothing added. And maybe we'll get into a little bit more of that, adding some spices at the end. So first thing we're gonna need something to cure these in. This made with meat tub is gonna work out perfect. Now I'm gonna be using the scales today, and that's, my father-in-law always said, the only thing that separates the amateurs and the professionals are the tools that they have at their disposal. That's why it's really great to have some nice tools here. So I'm gonna use this to weigh out my water. I'm gonna be doing 2 gallons of cold water. In this case, I'm using tap water. I let it set overnight so any chlorine that's in it evaporates. You can use spring water, but it's essential that it's cold. So I'm gonna be doing 2 gallons of cold water, 2 pounds of sea salt, and then I'm actually gonna make this recipe twice, because the one I'm gonna be using 1.3 ounces of celery juice powder. The other one I'm gonna be using the pink cure, the sodium nitrite. So I just went ahead and put this on the scale, put my tub on there. I can hit tare. Now my scale's zeroed out. Water weighs 8 pounds per gallon. So I can just go ahead and dump in till I'm up to 16 pounds. Looks like I need to take a little out. I like to be super precise when I'm weighing out anything. There it is. There we go. 16 pounds, 2 gallons of water. Now at this point, I'm going to use my celery juice powder. Again, this scale here, it's different units. I've got it ounces. I can go ahead and tare it for the weight of my little glass dish. This is Vegetable Stable 506. That's the brand name of this. We're going to put links. I'm going for 1.3 ounces here. This scale is super precise as well. Take out just a pinch. There we have it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put my celery juice powder in first. Give that a little mix. You can just use your hand. I like to use a gloved hand. Work out any clumps you have in there. This will dissolve here pretty quickly. I always start with my celery juice powder. Once I have that completely dissolved, then I'll go ahead and add my sea salt. All right, next is the salt. Today we're using sea salt. Again, I'm just going to tare for my little. You can substitute table salt for sea salt. We like sea salt just because it's a little bit more coarse. Looking for 2 pounds here. So I'm in, my units here are in ounces. If I want, I can just switch it over here. So we're going for 32 ounces. Yeah, so after years and years and years of working, you know, in the commercial world with the USDA, obviously precision with regard to measuring ingredients is paramount. Look at that, nailed it, just like at the gas pump. All right, 32 ounces. Sea salt go into the mixture.
Again, you can just, I like to use my hand because you can actually feel when you've dissolved all those granulars. Time for the belly to go in the drink. So you can just submerge that in there. I do like to use a couple of these tubs. You can use plates, whatever. That's going to help hold it down. Minimum of 8 days. We're going to look at about a 1/4 inch of penetration per day. This will creep into there. So quarter, half maybe. So minimum of 8 days, we won't touch this thing. It's better to go 10, 12, even up to 14 days. Now this just soaks in your fridge or in your cooler. And we've got one more to do with a regular cure, so let's get started on that one. Same process, part deux. Two gallons of water. I've got a pack here. This goes by Sure Cure. This is just a pink cure. Reason why it's pink is that you don't want your wife or kids to mix it up for table salt. Good golly, this thing must be made out of Teflon. There we go. All right, so 1 ounce for 2 gallons of water. Swirl that around and get it mixed up. We go in with 2 pounds. 2 pounds translates to just about 3.5 cups. All right.
I'm a little disappointed.
Why?
I haven't heard you say beloved bellies yet.
Beloved bellies?
That was the word. The words.
We just got them 2 more times. We'll have more at the end of the video. All right, so now these are going to soak, like I said, 8 to 14 days. Let's call it 10 to 12. Goes into the cooler, goes into the fridge, and after that, we really make the magic happen because we'll be going to the smoker. So stay tuned for the fun part.
We're 12 days in. You can see the 2 bellies in front of me. This one has been cured with a curing salt, sodium nitrite. This one has been cured with the celery powder. So both of these contain sea salt. This was the sodium nitrite. This one is the celery powder. What we're going to do is we want to do some comparisons here. We're going to season half of one with our black seasoning and half of one with pepper. Like we mentioned earlier during the curing process, you can really season these however you want. You know, maybe you want to use maple syrup, maybe you want to use brown sugar, you can use cinnamon, you can use whatever herbs and spices you'd like to do. You can even use jalapenos, maybe an Italian seasoning. It's just whatever twist you want to put on it, by all means, go for it. But today, we're going to do half of one with black, half of one with pepper. So, we're going to move one out of the way, and let's get started with that slab that was cured with pink salt. Get our weights out of there. Let's pull this belly out. Get it on our cutting board. We're going to start with grabbing a few paper towels and just patting this slab dry. Get that seasoning to stick real nice on there if we pat it dry a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Just get some of that cure off of there. And you can see that this belly has turned just slightly off color, a little bit gray, maybe even a little bit bluish purple to it. And that's the cure that went to work during the last 12 days. Now that we're patted dry, pretty simple process. We're just going to cut this belly in half. You can see how that cure worked on the inside. Someone's going to ask about the cutting board. Epicurean, they're on Amazon. We'll toss in a link. It's a really nice cutting board. And you probably wonder why I have a cutting board on top of a cutting table. It's simply because I'm going to be seasoning on this and I don't want to get our cutting table dirty for the remainder of today. So if you want one, go to Amazon. You can find the link there. Without further ado, butcher's black pepper. We're just going to coat this surface area real nice with this nice coarse black pepper. And if you haven't had pepper bacon, you're really missing out because it is a special treat. And you can see that pepper is sticking to that slab real nice. That way during the smoking process, it won't come off. No real worry about over seasoning. Just get a nice coating on there. All sides. You can even hit the end. And the beauty about doing this, especially if you're going to be doing it at home, is you can do it however you want. You can put less pepper, you can put more pepper, depending on the palates of your family, whatever they enjoy, base it off of that. Let's go ahead and layer these in our meat, made with meat lug. We're going to separate them by using some butcher paper. I'm going to go ahead and wipe my cutting board off and we'll season our next belly. Now the pork belly that was cured with celery powder and sea salt. Same thing. You can see this one has a different color. That celery powder is naturally has that just a little bit of that brownish green tint to it, and that's transferred on to that belly. You can see that it doesn't have that gray, bluish look. It's more of a brown with a little tad of that green tint. So let's just get it patted dry. Now, if you remember from when we processed this and showed you how to cut the bellies, both of these slabs weighed right at about 10 pounds. So if you're wondering the size, 10-pound pork belly. And I used about a half of jar of pepper, and I assume we're probably going to use about the same amount of our black seasoning. Let's just go ahead and cut it right in half. Very similar look on the inside with both of these bellies. The belly cured with nitrites and the belly cured with celery powder. They look very similar on the inside. Black seasoned bacon, the coffee and the molasses inside here, it's really, really good on bacon. And if you're going to be doing a bunch of them and you're worried about running out with one of our jars, one of our shakers, don't forget, if you grab a bucket on our website, shaker comes for free. You can keep refilling the shaker. So same thing here as we did with the pepper. Just put a nice liberal coating on here. And I can already smell those profiles coming through with that coffee and that molasses on there. If you have a pack of bacon at home that has already been cured and smoked, don't be shy. Grab your Bearded Butcher Blend seasoning out of the cupboard, put some on it as it's in your skillet frying. You'll be impressed. Now, the nice thing about the black seasoning is the slab has already been cured with celery powder and sea salt, and with the black seasoning, that sodium isn't going to come through real heavy, so when you season it up like this, it isn't necessarily going to make the end result super salty like some might think. So there's your black seasoned. Now what we're going to do is get it in our tub. We've got quite a stack of bellies going for the smoker. Last piece is going in. We put butcher paper in between each piece. That way it doesn't, they don't touch each other and you don't get the seasoning on a portion that you don't want, or the seasonings mixed together. Now that we have them in our tub, let's go get them on the Traeger. Caught us in a little rain here in Northeast Ohio. Traeger, Ironwood 885. It's set at 185 degrees. We're gonna hit super smoke mode. Nope, Scott already had it on super smoke mode. We want the super smoke mode on. We're gonna get our grill opened up. We put a tag on each portion of belly, identifying what it is. So we're gonna put the no nitrite belly on this side. Here's our little trick we talk about. Double up those gloves. That way you don't get the other seasoning on them. So we want to put the seasoned bellies on the bottom and the unseasoned on the top. That way none of that seasoning falls down below. Now we want to take our probe. We want to put it in the thickest portion of this belly, which I already know is going to be up here at the front. So we're going to go ahead and push this probe right into that thickest portion, just like that. Boy, don't those look just absolutely dandy? 185 degrees. We expect this to take probably about 6 hours. We can manipulate that a little bit by adjusting our temperature up if needed. So if we need to go to 200 or 225 partway through, we will. However, our finished internal temp on these, we're shooting for 152 degrees. The grill's loaded up with hickory wood pellets. So this is going to be plenty of pellets to do the entire smoke. 15 to 20 hours per 20-pound bag of pellets. There's going to be no issues there. We're going to leave these on the Traeger, and we're going to keep an eye on them through the app on our phone, and we'll be back in a few hours to check them out. It's time, isn't it? We're cutting pigs. We need to go rotate some bacon inside the Traeger. So what we want to do, oh boy, look at those. We're at a core probe temp of about 116, 117. So we just want to move things around. So we're going to go ahead, pull this one down to the bottom, set this one on the top. We want that heat to circulate evenly throughout this grill with all 4 slabs. So that's all we're going to do is rotate them top to bottom. Let's get them finished off. And now you can see that the pepper and the black seasoning, that's set up on those slabs real nice, so we don't have to worry about it falling off now onto the plain ones. So, we've got about another 35, 40 degrees to go. We'll have some bacon. 6 hours in, and it just happens to still be raining. We were hoping that we could ditch the tent. But anyways, enough about the rain. Let's talk about these bacons. Let's crack open this Traeger and see what they look like. Boy, don't those look tasty. Hickory smoked, internal temp of 152 degrees. So what we've done is we've taken the meat your maker lugs and we put a couple baking racks in the bottom of it. So we're gonna go ahead and set these slabs inside the lug. That way it keeps it up off the bottom a little bit. We'll place them in the cooler overnight. We'll let them rest. And then tomorrow, we're gonna slice these. We're gonna get them vacuum sealed, and we're even gonna fry some up in a cast iron skillet on the birch barrel. So without further ado, let's just start with this regular cured bacon. at that nice color on there. Beauty. So there's the chunk that we didn't season. Now let's do the peppered. So this is the regular cured, and by regular I mean cured with the sodium nitrate. And I think that one's ready to rest too. So if you look inside this tub, non-peppered, peppered, both cured with sodium nitrites. Now off to the celery powder cured slab. There's that one. Nice color. Both of them, I would say, very consistent in color. And they smell just wonderful. Smells like bacon. Charlie, do you approve? That is the black season. Look at the color on that one.
Smell.
Is it hitting you?
It's coming.
Look at that. So here, cured with celery powder and sea salt, plain Bearded Butcher black season. This one, cured with sodium nitrates, plain and coated in cracked black pepper.
Of course, you could just put these like on a fridge. Maybe you've got a fridge in your shop, whatever. You can put it on the rack, but make sure they're going to drip some. So that's why it's great to have these in this tub. But yeah, if you put them until they cool down, they're going to drip a little bit. Just put something underneath of them. But it's nice to get them raised so that air circulates all the way around there.
So as you can see up to this point, obviously, you know, we butchered the pig, we hung it in our cooler, we fabricated the bellies out of it. Those, what was our word?
Beloved.
Beloved bellies.
Beloved bellies.
Beloved bellies.
These do nest too, just if you need to stack them one over each other in a fridge. They nest together like that.
So we did fabricate these beloved bellies out of that pig. We ended up with 2 slabs, and they weighed about 10 and 9.90. So 20 pounds of pork belly. We'll weigh these after they've sat in the cooler overnight, so we'll tell you how much shrink loss we had. It's probably not a ton, but in the end, if you think about, economically eating bacon, especially if it's a large family, maybe you don't get to treat yourself to bacon a whole lot because of the cost. Well, this is a good way to produce it more efficiently, more affordably for your family, because you can go to your local butcher and you can buy a plain pork belly and you can cure it at home. So now we do understand that you have the investment in the smoker and the meat equipment. However, this is stuff that's going to last you a long time. Certainly isn't a one-time deal, and you can never have these products again. So with the Traeger, you've seen us make the hot dogs using the meat equipment. You've seen us make the summer sausage, the beef sticks. So very versatile items, and in the end, it's all about bacon sizzling in that frying pan. So, which we're going to do tomorrow. Let's let these rest overnight. We're going to get them in the cooler. It's the next day. Our bacons have had time to sit overnight in our cooler, and you can see some of that moisture is coming out of the slabs a little bit, but man, I can smell them. They look awesome. Let's get to slicing. You want to start with the celery powder or the sodium nitrite slab first? Which
Doesn't matter to me.
Do no nitrite?
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the one that's not seasoned first.
We're going to have to do our plain ones first so we don't.
Yep. Keep our slicer clean. Yep. I want to start off by showing you which direction to slice these. So if you look at this half slab, this was the top end where that spare rib was, and then this was the bottom. But we want to slice this direction, not long ways. We want to slice it across widthwise like that. At that point, we'll just get it on our slicer. Have this set at a nice old-fashioned style thickness. Let me just kick this off for a second. Take a look. I don't know about you guys, but that looks like some mighty fine bacon. And we're going to slice up maybe a half a dozen or so slices of each kind before we go to the frying pan. Beautiful, beautiful slices of old-fashioned style hickory smoked bacon. If you told somebody that you made this yourself, they might not even believe you.
I had to take a look. Look at that color. That's the celery juice powder, the no nitrite cure, or the naturally occurring nitrites, and it's got that nice pink color just like you would get out of your sodium nitrite.
That is our celery powder cured, unseasoned bacon. It's time for the regular cured bacon with the sodium nitrites, and we'll compare the regular cured to the one cured with the celery powder and sea salt. Same thickness. There's the sodium nitrite cured. There's the celery powder cured. Can't even tell the difference. Just get some slices going and get them laid out on our tray.
Of course, you could do this by hand with a nice sharp knife, but having the slicer, you see what short work that's making out of that. And of course, you're going to be able to use that for not just bacon, but like the summer sausage, the bologna, of course, cheeses, anything you want sliced precise and thin.
And you can adjust your thickness also. So like I said, I have this set on a kind of an old-fashioned style, nice, thick bacon. There is your unseasoned. This is a celery powder. This is a sodium nitrite. Side by side, and you can see that you can hardly even tell the difference. On to the pepper. Cracked black pepper. If you've never had it, I highly recommend it. This is going to get a little messy on our slicer, so we're going to do the black pepper, and then we'll go to our Bearded Butcher Blend Black Seasoned slab, starting off with the pepper. Look at that. Puts that nice crust on there. That beautiful color. Imagine having that frying in a skillet around the holidays. The fact that you can produce something like this at home is pretty awesome. And we're here to show you how to do it. The satisfaction out of knowing that you can do this, that, my friends, is beautiful. Down to the last one, seasoned with our Bearded Butcher Blend Black. Has the molasses, has the coffee in it. You can see all the other three that we've already done. Now it's time to see what this one looks like. We left the messiest one for last. That way we didn't have to clean our slicer in between each one. Look at that nice color on there. And we fried this up before. We've made it a couple times here at White Feather Meats, our shop, and it almost has a little bit of a pepperoni taste to it. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, if you want to just sprinkle some of our spice blends on your bacon as it's frying, you can certainly do that. There they are. See that nice coating of seasoning on there? That beautiful color inside that beloved belly. Now let's just get it set up. And get these shingled. And then we're going to pass them off to Scott. And he's going to get some. Always take your first one back here. That way you have a, you can hide it. That way that first slice is a nice pretty one. So there they are. Black season, cracked black pepper, plain celery powder, and plain sodium nitrate. Let's get them sealed up, get them on the skillet.
So I'm going to vacuum seal some of the strips to just demonstrate the best way to preserve your bacon is vacuum sealed. We're going to be using the meat vacuum sealer. Admittedly, terrible at this job, especially when it comes to bacon. So I'm going to put, I think I'll do about 6 slices in a bag. I'll drop them in here. Then you can squish them down, shingle them up a little bit, make it look like you're professional. But like I said, admittedly, terrible at this job.
Because your hands are too big.
Yeah. I want to show you a little Scott's Hot tip. So when I put this in here, it's going to want to fall off the seal bar because this bag right here is just so... I can use something like Seth's knife right here, and I can prop that up so that way I catch my seal bar. See what I did there? I'm full of more Scott's Hot tips. All right, so while that's sealing, I can get started on a new one again, just kind of working through my plane because the seasoning ones make a little bit of a mess. Oh, we're done. Let's get my favorite part, Spencer. Can you get that in there? There it goes. Look at that. Doesn't that make that look like an absolute professional package? All done with homemade equipment. I know we're in the commercial setting, but we're using literally made for home use. So let's keep packing.
Where's that knife?
It's right here. No, don't you get away. I want to show you something. So if you want, like if you're going to do like sandwiches, you can take slices like this, and this is another Scott's Hot tip. You can just rip them right down the center, and then you can pack these up like so. Seth wants to show you too, you can back that step up one step further. You can just rip your slab, and then that lets you have a little bit more control on the slicer, and he's going to do some super thin slices just to show you.
Move right up here to do it.
Because while there's nothing like a thick cast iron sliced bacon, if you want to have a nice real thin strips to put on sandwiches or something like that, he's going to show you just how thin you can get it with this slicer. Way thinner than you would ever get with a knife.
So if you like thin bacon, this is for you. So maybe you think that, you know, ours is a little bit too thick. By all means, just change that thickness on that meat slicer, and you can have nice, thin, crispy slices of bacon, just like that. Pretty simple. And then, you know, we're using this slicer for bacon, but if you do summer sausage or you do bologna or make your own smoked ham at home or whatever, you can use it. You can chip it. You can sandwich slice it, however you want. Now, let's take these to the frying pan. We've got the birch barrel fired up. We're going to throw them in a cast iron skillet, and we're going to have some breakfast.
I've got a 17-inch Lodge cast iron skillet. This is actually mine from home. It's going to go on the birch because there's nothing like bacon sizzling cast iron over an open fire.
Let's get that skillet heated up. Which flavor are we going to start with? It's going to be one of the unseasoned ones. You want to just start with the celery powder cured, what we call no nitrite added.
Just build our
Plain?
way up.
Let's
It's
do it.
going to be a flight of bacon.
I like it. How could you go wrong with a flight of bacon? Sounds, if you're against a flight of bacon, that's un-American in my book. Let's wait for the skillet to get hot. Let's fry some up. Let's get the bacon in the skillet. Have the Lodge cast iron on here. Let's just get it laid in there. Ooh. Listen to that sizzle.
A lot of action around here this morning, Seth.
It is. But hey,
Oh, man.
that smell hit you. Wow. The only thing that would make this better is if we were on the side of a mountain somewhere. First batch coming off the birch barrel. Wanted to make sure that we didn't burn it. Some people like super crispy bacon, but well, different strokes for different folks, I guess. We think this is perfect. Let that cool for a minute. While that cools, let's go ahead and get the unseasoned bacon slices on here that were cured with sodium nitrites. So we talked a little bit about our coals and where to place them underneath of this skillet. And you can see where we have them right there. We've got the rockwood charcoal in there, but we know that we didn't want this fire to get completely out of hand, because then this stuff would just cook so fast we'd have a harder time keeping it from burning.
I got a coffee chaser. I'm going just full on
slice.
Oh. My mind screams back to like a
Pure heaven.
farm morning before school. Oh, that is absolutely bacon at its finest. Not too salty. And the great thing about this one, this is the no nitrite. It's just, like I said, JPV bacon, just plain vanilla. It's just bacon with just like the salt.
Really,
and the
really,
hickory.
really good bacon.
Throw a little coffee behind that. Wow.
Unbelievable. So as this bacon is sizzling, Scott and I mentioned to Scott this morning, I looked at our YouTube channel this morning, and 80.4% of our views come from viewers that aren't actually subscribed to our channel. Let's see how we can fix that, because we're uploading videos constantly, but not to the point where you'd get annoyed with it. So we don't want you to miss out. We have people that reach out to us and they inquire about a video that's already on our channel. So the way you avoid that, hit that bell for notifications, and please, if you don't mind, subscribe to our channel. Let's get that percentage way, way, way up in our favor in subscribers. So just thought we'd mention that. We're done. Now this is the slab that we cured with sodium nitrite, so we'll sample this one. We just had the one cured with celery powder and sea salt. So let's see how they compare. Oop.
You better test out those tongs for that little slip up there. Looks like they're still in good shape.
Yep, they're still working. These are my favorite tongs. We've used them in, I think, about every video. So pepper, black pepper. Let's get this one. I personally love peppered bacon. You know what? I was just sitting here thinking, and I like the height of this birch barrel. It's super handy because, I mean, we're outside, and if you think about cooking over an open campfire or whatever, usually you're bent over and you're way down here, but it's just a nice, comfortable height to cook on.
It's time for the regular bacon. Virtually the same.
Couldn't tell the difference between the two. Both delicious. Bacon cheers.
So, uncured, cured, nitrite, no nitrite. It's a long explanation. Naturally occurring nitrites found in celery juice powder and sea salt are going to have the same effect as sodium nitrite. However, obviously celery juice powder is not a man-made chemical. It's a chemical, it's not a man-made chemical. It's naturally derived. Sodium nitrite, literally a man-made compound. So there's an argument they do the same thing, they perform the same way. My money is on something that's growing out of the ground, naturally produced. I know we've extracted it, made a powder out of it. So that's a little bit of the difference. Same effect. And that's kind of what we're proving here. Just one's natural, one's man-made.
Ready for some peppered bacon?
I am.
I already know. The peppered bacon is cooling. Let's get the black in the skillet.
Time for the pepper. See that pepper on that edge of that bacon? Oh man.
Do you realize that we're doing it to Spencer again?
Yeah, where's my bacon? It's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. I love like the back end of the pepper because you get like the salt and the hickory and
that
then
smoke coming through.
that pepper comes through there.
Peppered bacon has always been one of my favorites. Incredible. It's the last flavor. It's that black seasoned bacon. Look at the color on these strips. Let those cool down for a little bit. And then we're gonna sample them. Wow. There you have it.
It's time for the last of the 4 different varieties.
This one's seasoned with the Bearded Butcher Black.
Crusted right on there on the edge. Oh my gosh. That's such a unique flavor. Like you mentioned, it's like a tiny bit pepperoni, but it's all the goodness of bacon. That is fantastic. I love that.
Do you have a favorite?
I think I have a favorite for each different occasion.
Yeah.
This is special.
Maybe even
This is like something you can make and somebody's like, wow, I've never had bacon like that. Like,
you talk about occasion, maybe even different time of the year. Because like pepper, you think about, Christmas time, the holidays. Yeah, this is just kind of that wow your guests with something maybe that they've never had.
well, you could get one 10-pound slab, cut it in quarters, and you can make 4 of these or 3 of these or whatever.
Because the curing
Because this
is
is all
the
what we
same.
call
Well, the curing on that entire slab would be the same.
right.
Slice it into 4 slices, and then do each quarter a different way. Unbelievable.
if I'm just looking for like the wow, I would probably be the black, like something I've never had bacon like that. That's impressive.
Bearded Butcher Black Beloved Bacon. What do you think about that?
I love it. So you saw us use obviously the pig. Livestock we butchered right here. We cut the belly out. We used the JPV, the just plain vanilla curing process. Super easy to replicate that at home. Probably the biggest challenge would be if you go after the vegetable stable 506 celery juice powder. It's a little bit hard to find, I think, just on the home user market. But you can use the sodium nitrite instead. Obviously the salt, the water, easy stuff. Then we get into the Traeger, which we found is an absolute wonderful device for smoking. The 885, our favorite model, we had 20 pounds of bacon. Did them perfectly, get that great flavor. And then we finished it off with the cast iron skillet and the birch barrel. Obviously you can use a skillet at home. And then the meat equipment all along the way just made this process. It turned it from what used to be commercial available only to the home user equipment. So you're able to turn out perfectly sliced, perfectly packaged bacon just like you see here. So using all that equipment made all the difference to turn out what we would consider homemade bacon that's identical to what you would purchase from a commercial resource.
And it's not difficult to do yourself.
No.
Might be intimidating, we talk about this a lot. However, with those tools, with the knowledge, go step by step in this video, you can absolutely do this at home. So, I think it was a success. Bacon, we did it. Don't forget Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe to us here on our YouTube channel because we've got tons more to come. You know the deal.
And we drop links in the description for all of this stuff. So
if you want to find it, it's in the link.
Description below and click on the link. You're going to find everything you need here.
And if you love bacon, drop a comment. Tell us how much you love bacon. Until next time, see ya.